Alright, so the video is Roblox, how to destroy your, believe that, $83 billion company overnight. A deep dive by, Mujin. And again, since it actually goes in depth to a lot of things, all the while I will be drawing, well, now see, I just kind of picked out a random through the side, as per usual.
Jeffrey Epstein was a man of many different identities. Some would know him as a very rich Wall Street investor. Others would have doubts that he's affiliated with a foreign intelligence agency. One thing was certain, though, this man was a diddler. And throughout the many decades of his life, he'd make it a point to collect as many victims as he could. But even though he had so much money and power, it didn't necessarily mean that it was going to be easy. Our poor little Jeffrey would have to do all of the work by himself personally, isolating victims and taking advantage of them. Luckily for him, at some point in his life, he would get help by his assistant, Ghislaine Maxwell. But man, it must have been such hard work to ruin all these poor innocent young girls' lives. And one can't help but think, what if Jeffrey was born 20 or 30 years later? What if he was simply born in the wrong generation? Because if he had waited just a bit longer, he would have been able to do all this for free and with no need to have hundreds of millions of dollars and powerful connections in society. All he'd have to do is make one simple account on a platform called Roblox.
Well, that's a massive fucking attention grabber right there. But where's the lie? But yeah, sadly, this has been a persisting problem in Roblox for quite a while from what I can tell, and it's also the main reason I never really got a Roblox account, like, at all. The other being that I just never got interested in the game. It's been around for a long time, but I don't know, it just never clicked. The cursed memes are hilarious, though.
A game that openly markets itself to children, all while doing their absolute best to protect the people who would seek to hurt them the most. Predators. This has been an ongoing problem for way too long, spanning many years, featuring articles like this written by Bloomberg with the title Roblox Pedophile Problem. Featuring mini games such as these, spaces made specifically to attract minors and do some very weird things with them. You'd have such disturbing cases pop up in relation to this game and what it does to minors that for most people, while outraged, couldn't really do much except watch with horror on the side.
Oh, hey Alex. I don't really know yet. I never actually checked. I was kind of busy catching the fire outbreaks. Might release eventually, though. Yeah, same here. Now there are like few games on there that kind of got popular, but I just never clicked with it. It's even before I knew about all the 80 stuff about it.
Sidelines. But now, after a major incident involving Roblox's executive team and its own CEO, it's facing its biggest existential threat.
Oh yeah, he is suing them. Man, I hope things go well for him.
To date. You have a US congressman by the name of Ro Khanna publicly calling them out and making a petition to hold them accountable. You have the Attorney General of the state of Louisiana suing Roblox directly and calling the platform the perfect place for pedophiles. The company is now facing multiple lawsuits over child safety, and some of its biggest and most well-known content creators are quitting its incentive program and pretty much boycotting the game. This has been such a shit show that Chris Hansen himself, the man known from the show To Catch a Predator, has come out of retirement to make a documentary about Roblox. And speaking...
Well, your mileage may vary on whether or not that's a good thing, considering Chris Hansen kind of has a spotty history, to say the least. I mean, I won't deny he did some good shit, but yeah, just look up how To Catch a Predator ended, and it wasn't pretty. I'm gonna let you know that right now. But hopefully he'll help out with the situation.
Speaking of Roblox, they've lost over $12 billion in market capitalization in just 24 hours after they had conducted a disastrous live stream in which they tried their best to apologize.
Well, he wasn't entirely bad at it, but a massive fuck up led to a very horrible situation that he kind of regrets to this day. An event that kind of got his show canceled. Oh yeah, ain't that the truth? I'm pretty sure the people behind the Gollum game can attest to that.
Guys, I say this with no exaggeration. Roblox is facing its biggest existential threat yet. But why? These predators have been running free for years. What changed now? Well, let's talk about it. Even though I'm on vacation, I got myself a laptop because I knew something was going to happen as soon as I went on vacation. And here we are. So, without further ado...
Yeah, ain't that the truth? You can never get away from your job even on vacation. At least he gets a pretty good paycheck out of this video. I hope. Oh, alright. Yeah, I might edit this down and upload it later to if you just want the reaction.
Let's do this. All right, so 13.8 billion years ago, the most important event in history occurred. The creation of the universe itself, dubbed the
He did the meme.
Big Bang. Humans would arrive way later, and throughout our history, we'd achieve many great things.
Yeah, I'll admit, though, I think Nostalgia Critic kind of did this joke better. Hate to say it.
We'd also, unfortunately, destroy many great things. All of this led up to the second most important date in humanity's history, which was September 1st, 2006, when Roblox had officially released. Now you have to understand, back then, this was a ridiculous idea for a game. This concept of having an empty game that's meant to be populated by games made by players was alien, and it was so incredibly niche.
I don't know, I mean, I think this type of game still had its audiences. I remember a game called... I remember Age of Empires and Beauty Bloopy had level editors in the past. Granted, they were nowhere near as robust as Roblox was. Yeah, I know that saying robust for Roblox is kind of weird to say, but I remember this is 2006 after all. Yeah, I definitely know that there were, in fact, audiences for this type of game. I'm not one of them, but I definitely know they exist.
I say this myself because I was there at the beginning, back in 2010 when I created my account. I'm not going to show my character name because Roblox is probably going to ban me for this video, but look at my drip. I'm still wearing a Disney
Is it really
XD
worth
shirt
keeping, though?
and a helmet. Back when Roblox had collaborated with Disney XD, that's like ages ago. Back then, there was still another currency called tickets. In parallel to Robux, you earned tickets just for playing. The most popular game at the time looked like this. It was a very bare bones FPS. When I would tell my friends about Roblox, they'd look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm weird. It definitely had a very rough start, and I'm sure the team behind it had moments where they were like, wait, is this gonna fail? But then, a couple years later, Minecraft would release and would gain massive popularity throughout the years that followed. At the same time, the concept of modding...
Yeah, I'm sadly a Minecraft person more than I am a Roblox person.
This was Elder Scrolls V Skyrim when it released in 2011 and had a very well-rounded mod creation kit, giving this game more...
Yeah, for some reason I just never really played Skyrim. I mean, I hear the mods are fun, but I don't know, I just never played it. Kind of weird, honestly.
more longevity than anyone could have ever predicted. Over time, the expectations that gamers had for a video game started to change. This is when you'd have both millennials and especially Gen Z expect more from their games, either in terms of content you initially get when buying the game or with content that players can produce. And soon enough, this game that had gone all in into the concept of user-generated content finally started bearing the fruit of their labor. In 2012, they had reached a very big milestone. 149 different user-created games had reached over 1 million plays. And in that same year, 2012, they had launched on iOS, with Android following a couple years later. They had seen early on how big the mobile market was going to be for games, and this helped them tremendously catapult into being one of the most played games of all time, reaching other platforms soon after, like consoles. According to Roblox's numbers, the monthly active users they have are in the hundreds of millions, with them reaching an average of 380 million monthly average players in 2024. An absolutely ridiculous number that was helped a lot by the pandemic. As you can see, by the end of 2019, they had 113 million monthly active users, and by the beginning of 2021, they had doubled that number, effectively going from 100 million to 200 million just like that, like it was nothing. But you see, having active players is cool, but seeing that all this content is generated by other players, how do you even make money? Well, Roblox from the beginning had a currency called Robux. The only way to earn it is buying it, and it's the only way you can buy cosmetics for your character to make...
Oh yeah, I totally don't see this backfiring. Introducing microtransactions to children, to a children's game. I also don't see adding gambling mechanics to a video game to be problematic. Seriously, game industry has a fucking horrible track record at future-proofing.
Make them look different. Now, for a long time, most developers thought, well, listen, if we want to make a lot of money, we got to target the adult single male demographic that has a lot of income ready to spend. This is what gacha games did, for example, and it was a massive success, but Western developers had a harder time doing so. Roblox, on the other hand, came in and completely rewrote this entire philosophy. You see, when you make a free game targeting children, they're all gonna play it. And eventually, once they get very attached to the game and want to customize their character, guess who's paying for Robux? Their parents. Look at this thread on Reddit here. Anyone else tired of their kids asking for Robux? Or how about this YouTube video? How to convince your parents to buy you Robux on Roblox, sitting at over 111,000 views. And other than the fact that parents were absolutely losing their minds over their kids asking for Robux, you'd also have articles like this pop up. A 24-year-old Roblox developer making over $1 million a year shares how he launched his own game development studio. After earning $100,000 in 1 month from one of his games while he was an intern, he left college. So on one hand, you were making money from kids begging their parents for Robux, and on the other, you were attracting young talent that had massive potential with the idea that they could be millionaires if they made the next hit game on your platform. I mean,
So, mental note, if by the slim chance I ever get a kid, introduce him to a game maker and keep him the fuck away from the AAA market. Teach him to go indie before they even consider Roblox.
at this point, other developers were looking at Roblox and they were drooling. How did we miss this gold mine? How could we not see that the next step in gaming was going to be user-generated content? The video game industry, ever since 2022, has been going through an apocalypse, with over 35,000 jobs lost between 2022 and 2025. One of the only companies that didn't go through any mass layoffs was Roblox, completely avoiding the current video game slump. I mean, at this
yeah, interesting fact. That might actually be because they actually only have like 3,000 people as moderators, as opposed to TikTok and all such social media platforms that actually have a ton of mods to moderate through their stuff. Apparently, there was according to the what was his name again? Fly by Mike noted that several anonymous employees even stated that several requests from the moderation team to actually hire more people went completely unread and all that. So, yeah, chances are they are just completely ignoring everyone there. Also, hey, family of three.
At this point, for investors, for gamers, for other companies, Roblox was unstoppable. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you understand that the story doesn't end with success. If anything, the biggest problems arise once you finally find that success. And Roblox had a reckoning coming. As I mentioned, this game was targeting children. And that's exactly what it got. 56% of Roblox users are under the age of 16. I'm very glad they specified age of 16 and didn't say 18 or just minors in general, because now all the cringe lords that would normally type, well, actually 16 is legal in some states, can't. This means that 56% of Roblox players are not legal in any way, shape, or form. They can't give consent about anything. In fact,
why do I get the feeling that Mujin has to deal with Destiny fans? I don't know, just that vibe that I get from him floating about saying that actually people can't actually defend the company's really dog shit moderation team. I lost my train of thought. Dang it. Anyways.
In fact, Roblox, the company, would go even further and say, according to the company, their monthly player base includes half of all American children under the age of 16. These guys have more of a monopoly on American children than schools do, and they spend over 6 hours a day there. And so, of course...
that sounds like a normal kids program, if you ask me. What do I know?
Even though they had figured out how to make a lot of money, Roblox had a very big problem. When a platform attracts such a huge population of children, they're faced with a very big responsibility, which is keeping them safe. And unfortunately, Roblox would do such an abysmal job keeping anyone safe on their platform to the point where the worst kinds of people took notice.
Yeah, to say the freaking least.
And they took full advantage of that. Roblox blew up during the pandemic. That's something everyone is aware of. But even before 2020, you would start seeing articles like this popping up, saying, deputies say Vero Beach man used popular video game platforms to target children. Scott used popular video games such as Roblox, a multiplayer online game, to coerce children as young as 10 into sending naked photos in exchange for virtual gaming currency. In 2020, the Daily Mail would write, Roblox computer game is under fire for secret red light district where young kids are exposed to digital sex parties, racial slurs, and players solicit nudes and link to graphic images, including
Yeah, and there's an entire freaking subreddit dedicated to the most cursed shit you can see on Roblox. I believe it's called r/go-commit-die. I would not recommend going there unless you are immune from dying of cringe.
an image from an investigation that CBS had conducted in this game with a player model that's naked saying, I'm 14, who want get freaky on Snap? The Rolling Stone would also write an article about this, saying, inside the underground strip club scene on kid-friendly gaming site Roblox. Roblox is a place for kids to create and play games. Now, some are earning Robux giving lap dances in virtual clubs. It was becoming very evident for anyone who was like Jeffrey Epstein that because children relied on their parents to get Robux, sometimes those parents might say no. So if you gave them an alternate way to earn these Robux by doing some very illegal things, the odds of that happening were definitely in the predator's favor. Some of these articles I'm seeing are heartbreaking. These children were sending inappropriate images of themselves for as little as $5 for like 500 Robux. This wasn't...
Jesus, just $5. Yeah, fucking... And that would destroy a freaking adult, much less a kid. Now I feel really sorry for that kid.
Just because they were naive and completely innocent because, you know, they're children. And it wasn't just for cosmetics either. Having Robux in this game that they probably spend so many hours on also meant power. This is a whole other topic for a separate video, but having played Roblox myself recently, I can tell you right now that every single top game on this platform is so painfully and obviously pay to win. It's the most shameless thing I have ever seen in gaming, and not enough people have called it out. You could be playing a...
Wow, that's totally not a recipe for disaster.
quote-unquote skill-based game, and if you die, you can revive yourself by paying money and just shit on other players. When you give a currency this much power in children's heads, in a game that they play for hours upon hours every single day and make friends in and make a community in, the Jeffrey Epsteins of this world will take notice very quickly and take advantage of the entire situation. Why bother putting yourself in danger by going on forums, or Instagram, or Snapchat? Why risk getting caught by law enforcement posing as a child when you have 56% of people playing this game being children? When you can get illegal favors from them for as little as $5? And more importantly, the platform you're on barely takes any actions against people like you. That was just the icing on the cake at that point. Around the end of 2023, a YouTuber by the name of Ruben Sim would create a video titled, Do Roblox Reports Really Work?, in which you would find people going against TOS, targeting children, being disgusting, reporting them multiple times, and not getting a single one of them banned through the report system, showing just how...
Yeah, spoiler, it was no. The answer was no.
Ineffective Roblox was at keeping children safe and literally indirectly protecting these disgusting people. This...
Yeah, and yeah, Law by Mike's account is anything to go by. Apparently there's a backup of thousands of reports that went completely unchecked because of a lack of moderation. Yeah, thousands.
Problem would get so bad that the National Center on Sexual Exploitation would include it in its Dirty Dozen list in 2023. The Dirty Dozen list is an annual campaign calling out 12 mainstream entities for facilitating, enabling, and even profiting from sexual abuse and exploitation. Roblox has been an honorary member of this list every single year ever since being first included. But they wouldn't
Oh, there's a fucking shock.
budge. The incidents would keep getting worse. A man was charged in kidnapping an 11-year-old that he met through Roblox. And still, radio silence. If you ever brought up this issue, they would say, well, hey, we have parental controls. You could set your child's age and it wouldn't show them adult-themed games. And you could even block certain games that you don't want your child accessing. But setting the age on a game was the creator's responsibility, and most of them set it to all ages. Why wouldn't they? They want the most players, right? And Roblox never checked that. And as for the games that the parents can block, there was a limit of 100. Bear in mind, Roblox has tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of different games. So see if that helps. The Roblox community, content creators, local media outlets, hell, even countries would talk about this. Turkey banned Roblox at some point, citing child endangerment. But we'd hear nothing from this company. They wouldn't address this as if it didn't exist. They were clearly making a lot of money. Investors were very happy with how well the stock was performing, and it seemed like shareholder interests were above anything else, even child safety. So they simply didn't care and were hoping it would go away while they still printed money. Well, that was until 2024, when even Wall Street took notice and threatened their reputation like never before. Hindenburg Research is a forensic...
I mean, kinda, but nothing really came of it. Spoiler alert.
Financial research firm that's fairly well known and respected on Wall Street. They specialize in writing very damaging reports about companies conducting fraud and other weird, suspicious, illegal activities. They have a solid track record exposing corrupt companies and cooperating with the US government to bring them to justice. And while all of this might sound amazing from a moral standpoint, it's also tied to how they make money. You see, in the stock market, you can either buy a stock or you can buy contracts. The two most popular contracts are a call, in which you're betting an amount of money that a stock is going to go up at a certain date, and a put, otherwise known as a short, in which you're betting an amount of money that at a certain date a stock is going to go down. If you end up being right about either a call or a short, you stand to make a lot of money, in some cases over 100 times the amount. But if you end up being wrong, well, you lose everything. Hindenburg would be very transparent. After they publish a report about a corrupt company, they would buy a sizable short position to put their money where their mouth is, but also to straight up make money, a lot of it. On October 8th, 2024, they would come out with this report titled Roblox, Inflated Key Metrics for Wall Street and a Pedo Hellscape for Kids. Now, you have to understand, this title by itself was a bombshell, even by Hindenburg Research's standards. When this dropped, all of Wall Street was talking about it because it was pretty much attacking the two most important things that Roblox had pride in: its very high player counts and its kid-oriented demographic. Hindenburg Research would show up, well, with research and show us that a big chunk of this player count is actually a bunch of alts and bots, showing us just
wow, you don't say.
How easy it is to create multiple different accounts, and how a huge chunk of players, sometimes half in some of the most popular games on the platform, came from both Vietnam and the Philippines. Countries that sold many services to emulate multiple
Dang it, video's lagging.
accounts on their machines, with the goal of farming as much currency as they can in some of the most popular games in order to sell the account later on eBay. A former
Yeah, this has been a problem with MMOs from what I can tell. Not surprised this is occurring with Roblox too, so...
former Roblox employee would talk to Hindenburg Research and say internally, there is awareness that a lot of this activity was happening in Vietnam when these sort of things occurred, and that inflated a lot of our numbers. Like crazy, insane in terms of engagement, daily active users, and stuff like that. Hindenburg points out that even though Roblox has all these hundreds of millions of monthly active users, it hadn't made a single profit since 2021. Since going public on the stock market, losing $2.6 billion in 3 years. This section had directly attacked Roblox as a company, how they operate, their financials, and it concerned some of their top investors in Wall Street. But while this report so far only served to hurt their wallets, the next section would only serve to make them want to puke when they...
Yeah. Methinks the people behind Roblox were completely ill-equipped for mainstream success. Had a hunch.
They realized that Roblox was nothing more than a playground for pedophiles. They would point out that in 2023, the National Center on Sex Exploitation bluntly told the Roblox CEO, extensive evidence suggests that Roblox has not sufficiently prioritized child protection and has struggled to implement safety practices commensurate with its growth, resulting in a proliferation of exploitative and harmful content and predatory behavior. They would also mention the Dirty Dozen list that we saw earlier, as well as Bloomberg's article. Hindenburg would go on to show us many different incidents from 2019 to 2024 in which predators were arrested for having kidnapped, raped, or even traded sexual content with minors thanks to Roblox. But they weren't just going to end it here. Hindenburg took it a step further and actually tested out just how safe this platform was on their own time.
I'm gonna assume it was not very.
Attempted to set up an account under the name Jeffrey Epstein, only to see that the name was taken, along with 900 plus variations. They had found one account in particular called Jeff Epstein Supporter that had earned multiple badges for spending time in kids' games. They found...
God damn, it's like a darker version of the one Sword Art Online abridged joke.
Found a guy with the username iGrowMiners and another one, I'm not even going to read that out loud, but it's ridiculous. After this incredible revelation, just barely a few minutes after creating their account, they would register as a child, more specifically as a 9-year-old. They would then type Diddy in the search bar and would see many different games featuring Diddy, with some titled Diddy Party, Freaky Diddy Simulator, Diddy Survival, Midnight at Diddy's Party, and things such as Escape to Epstein Island. They would then mention how Roblox claims it reviews every single image, video, and audio file uploaded to Roblox.
Doubt.
While Hindenburg would join a game with the name School Simulator, a game that had over 29 million visits and had 0 age restrictions, and within just a few minutes, a player took out a sign with a massive sausage on it. This was literally within a few minutes of joining School.
I mean, it sounds exactly like a public school bathroom to me.
School Simulator. Checking every single image, my ass. Actually, maybe you do. Maybe you like this kind of content, Roblox.
Yeah, kind of. One thing that you also have to note about Roblox is it's not entirely because its problems don't entirely stem from pedophiles. There's also the fact that kids are notoriously edgy and mixed with the predator situation. Yeah, not a very good combination.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, what was even more worrying in this report is that Hindenburg would type the name adult in the search bar and find a group called Adult Studios with over 103,000 members. This was a group that was openly soliciting sexual favors and trading child pornography. It was very simple, right? All you had to do was find vulnerable children, give them Robux, and then trade whatever they send you with other people. This is like Jeffrey Epstein's paradise. And in just a few months, Hindenburg had found over 38 different Roblox groups where this was being done. Whenever one of them gets locked, another one gets made, and would take a very long time for it to get deleted by Roblox. But what was really crazy about...
Wow. That's a fucking surprise. I think I'm gonna die from the not surprise.
adult studios in particular isn't just the fact that it had over 103,000 people, but that it has existed since 2009. 15 years, and Roblox had taken no action whatsoever. There would be many people in these groups that had bios saying their age, of course minors, giving their Discord username, and saying that they sell, you know what, for Robux. This would make anyone want to puke just reading this and seeing how even if you were to make a literal platform on the dark web to lure in minors, it wouldn't do a better job than Roblox. It's ridiculous. When this report came out, Roblox, unlike other instances where children were actually put in danger, would respond almost immediately. You can pause the video if you'd like to read the whole thing, but in a nutshell,
wow,
they take content moderation very
what a shock,
seriously, and that everything
they only respond when the PR gets bad. So basically, the AAA game industry response.
and that report shouldn't be taken seriously because Hindenburg themselves have an agenda. They simply want to make money profiting off of Roblox's stock going down. But overall, seeing that Hindenburg's report was like over 100 pages long, this 1 page and a quarter was extremely disappointing. Like, that's all you have to say for yourself, really? After the report would come out, the stock would take a bit of a beating back in October of 2024, but in a few months would recover fully. And in around 8 months would double from $50 to $100. Even Hindenburg, who had taken down companies based on their shady practices, couldn't stop Roblox. Many people were hoping, including me, that this reaching Wall Street would finally make something happen, but it didn't. This wasn't the first time someone was bringing up these problems, and Roblox had done what they had done before. Sit back, ignore it, and it'll go away by itself. Well, enough was enough. Many Roblox players who had grown up with this game had noticed just how others were being taken advantage of on the platform. Once they realized that they could report someone over 100 times for taking advantage of minors and having nothing happen to them, they decided to take matters into their own hands. This is when you would start seeing over the years many of these videos start to pop up of Roblox players working with law enforcement agencies to get predators off the game and off the streets for good. This would follow the same strategy that someone like Hansen would do. On his show, To Catch a Predator, he would have someone pose as a minor, talk to these predators, lure them to a location in which the predator thinks they can take advantage of the minor, and have the police waiting for them. One of the most popular Roblox predator hunters would be Schlep, someone who had been playing the game for many years, ever since being a kid, someone who had met his girlfriend on the platform and holds a lot of love for the game, but also a victim, someone who has been groomed on the platform before and doesn't want to see a single child suffer the same fate as him. He would make quite a few videos about this and would work directly with law enforcement to arrest over 6 predators, with some having done way worse things than what they were doing on Roblox, sometimes
Damn, this dude's like a Roblox version of CoffeeZilla. With less investor fraud and more predator hunting. And legit predator hunting. Not the big type that people like Mama Max or Leo Convoy do.
Possessing illegal material of minors on their hard drive. It really sucked how Roblox was doing nothing to protect children, but it was so admirable how people like Schlep took time out of their day, worked countless weeks and months
doing the Lord's work,
with law enforcement to capture these freaks to keep children safe. But again, instead of taking notice, instead of actually trying to help them or hear what they had to say, Roblox would just ignore them, ghosting them whenever they'd reach out and never acknowledging their existence. That will be until August 10th, 2025, when instead of finally trying to improve the platform for children's safety, they would instead take the unfathomable decision of banning the very people who were keeping their platform safe. On August 9th, 2025, Schlep would tweet this out on his Twitter, saying, "Every account I've ever made on Roblox has been terminated, and Roblox sent a cease and desist letter to me. Not a single Roblox predator I've ever gotten arrested has faced any action similar to this. I have no words. Even though this was my livelihood and career outside of Schlep, I have no plans to return to Roblox. I will not be making any new accounts." So this was already a very shocking development. Why would Roblox take action against someone like Schlep, doing his best to keep their platform safe? Well, the next day, on August 10th, 2025, he would release this video titled "Roblox is threatening to sue me for protecting kids," in which he would show us what the cease and desist letter actually said. While Roblox acknowledges that your stated intentions may be to protect children, and while it recognizes the serious nature of online predatory behavior, your methods, including failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels, are actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols and critically are exposing Roblox's users to increased risk.
Oh, really? The same one you refused to outright provide extra hands to before several of them despite several of them asking for it? The one that you underfunded so severely that one of the moderators outright quit because of how poorly managed it was? Yeah, if anything, this dude going to the police is actually the most logical freaking thing he could have done.
So already this paragraph is wild, saying that what Schlep is doing was putting people in danger, when in reality it was only doing the opposite by arresting predators. They would then say, accordingly, and pursuant to Roblox's policies, Roblox will be closing your accounts. Please note that Roblox community standards prohibit opening new accounts to evade an enforcement action. Therefore, we demand that you cease and desist from accessing the Roblox platform. Please be advised that Roblox reserves all rights to take any and all appropriate legal action against you should your violations of the Roblox community standards continue. So not only were all of your accounts banned, not only were you being blamed for making the platform a bigger danger, but if you just as much attempted to continue using Roblox, we will be suing the hell out of you as a billion-dollar company. You know, this is really interesting because it seems to me as if they're siding with the predators. I think that's what most people concluded from the cease and desist letter. But what's ironic is their usage of using the appropriate channels to report people. This is when Schlep would point out that he was actually threatened with a terroristic threat on this platform in Roblox by a user called Nepali Incel, went ahead and reported him, and nothing happened. In fact, the biggest irony here is that Schlep ended up being banned before him. And what was really interesting too is the fact that Roblox was calling Schlep a vigilante. But Jadion, a very big YouTuber that Schlep had collaborated with multiple times to arrest predators, pointed this out about the usage of this term. Watch.
Okay, they're calling Schlep and us vigilante groups, right? The definition of a vigilante is someone that takes the law into their own hands. Throughout any of our Roblox interactions, have you guys ever seen us beat the crap out of these dudes, handcuff them ourselves?
Oh, that's not my PC being. The echoing isn't from PC, by the way. The footage just has echo in it. I had to clear that up.
Take them over to the no. We literally just have conversations with them. We report everything to the police. When the police get there on scene, they see obviously that there was a crime committed, and they do the right thing and arrest them. I mean, I really don't know any more of a proper channel than literally report it to the police themselves.
So
yeah, exactly.
Roblox was making Schlep out to be some rogue Batman figure, ditching the entire justice system and taking justice into their own hands, deciding who's guilty and laying out the punishment to them without any intervention from the law.
And pretty sure even Batman works with law enforcement. Just putting that out there.
From the truth, Schlep would always make it a point to be coordinating with law enforcement, only supplying them with necessary evidence. That's it. That's the opposite of a vigilante. That's a good Samaritan. More and more people were starting to understand that Roblox's problem with Schlep just didn't really make sense. Do you really have a problem with someone taking time out of their own day, working with law enforcement, pursuing someone legally so that they can't use your platform to take advantage of children? I mean, it didn't really make much sense. This story was so ridiculous that it would result in Schlep gaining a lot of traction. This is when he would take the opportunity to show everyone how just 10 years ago, after having been groomed for multiple years by an adult through Roblox, he decided to leave this planet, but thankfully didn't succeed. As he was laying on the hospital bed, his mother would email Roblox support telling them about what had happened, and the response was an absolute joke. It would start off saying, hey, really sorry your son's going through a tough time. Yeah, that sucks. We're going to do everything we can. Here's a couple of suicide hotline links. But anyway, if you're having any problems with any other players on Roblox, you should really use the report abuse button. Sincerely, Carlos, customer care, Roblox. I mean,
Yeah, that totally freaking helped. And yeah, that's exactly why the Schlep situation is different from the other times Roblox got shit about their predator problem. Because this incident ultimately proved that they weren't just ignoring the predators, they were actively protecting them. Because you don't get a bigger smoking gun than banning someone who is working with law enforcement.
you might as well just give them a middle finger at this point. Schlep said, nearly a decade later, I see very similar emails from Roblox regarding predators who get arrested. Nothing has changed. In fact, Edwin Dorsey would point out that so many cases go unreported, undetected, or contribute to the deaths of children. Below is just one lawsuit in which a 10-year-old girl claimed abuse through Roblox. She attempted to leave this planet twice in 2020. Schlep was unfortunately far from being the only one here, with Edwin also showing us over 30 cases from 2019 up until 2025 of predators, sometimes even people who are already on the registered sex offender list, use Roblox to attain their very disgusting goals involving minors. And to add further salt into the wound, one day after Schlep had been banned, this paid emote got released called Catgirl Stretching. And let's be real here, this is not stretching. This whole
Oh yeah, that is not stretching. That is fucking. That is 100% fucking. That is practically teabagging someone while they're down.
will definitely get used for very weird RP. What happened to Schlep was gaining traction very quickly within the Roblox community, and only a couple days after his video had released, one of the biggest Roblox YouTubers on the planet, Creekcraft, would tweet this out, saying, "There's been talks between very large Roblox YouTubers planning a mass exodus from the Roblox Star program. Roblox developers planning hashtag free Schlep chants at RDC, which is the annual Roblox convention, a few sponsorship opportunities in jeopardy due to Roblox's recent actions. That's where we're at right now." Things were getting real very fast, and Roblox couldn't afford to stay silent this time around. So on August 14th, 4 days after Schlep had posted his initial video, they would tweet out, "For transparency, we are sharing more information about our decision to remove vigilantes from Roblox," linking a blog post on their website. This entire blog post would be them trying to justify not only them banning Schlep, but the ban of any vigilante on Roblox, anyone who was trying to protect children by going after predators, pretty much. I mean, look at their amazing reasoning on why they remove vigilantes. They said they've been monitoring vigilante activity on Roblox for some time. It started out as a group of people trying to give feedback to Roblox, telling them to do better, something they appreciated. But then, vigilante activity evolved. Instead of just reporting on safety issues, vigilantes started impersonating children and actively sought to connect with adult users. Those conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encouraged other users to connect on other social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety systems. Oh, I see. So because these vigilantes were posing as minors and taking these poor predators...
Yeah, that's actually... Roblox's response makes even less sense when you consider that this is literally a tactic used by the FBI. Not to mention that no one's really going to No one from Roblox would even get in trouble for any potential entrapment lawsuit or such. Because, let's face it, that tech companies always get away from that shit scot-free, so even in a corrupt social media company world, this makes no fucking sense. Unless you were actually protecting them.
Away from Roblox onto other platforms meant that they were just as bad as predators, if not worse, which is why they should be banned. Yeah, of course, that makes total sense. Adding that none of the activity discussed above is acceptable on Roblox. We have teams dedicated to reviewing and investigating the reports we receive. But at this point, no one believes that anymore. As soon as this disastrous statement would come out, Schlep would tweet, "Roblox has tripled down in their latest newsroom post, outrageously comparing me to actual predators because my decoys tell adults that they're children. We use the same tactics that the FBI, ICAC, and local police departments use in their own operations to catch predators." This is something they actually said, dude. Similar to actual predators, they often impersonated minors, actively approached other users, then tried to lead them to other platforms to have sexually explicit conversations, which is against our terms of use. Mind you, this whole post was written by Matt Kaufman, their chief safety officer. This is the man that needs to be held accountable, that so many children are being taken advantage of. And he's out here saying that Schlep and what he was doing was just as bad as predators. Do you understand how crazy this is to say to someone who was literally groomed on your platform for multiple years and tried to leave this planet ending up in a hospital bed? That is wild. So, of course, very shortly after, they got community noted on this tweet.
Wow, that's a shock.
The blog post that Roblox linked in this X post claims that Roblox takes action against bad actors after receiving a report. An experiment ran by YouTubers shows that 100 blatantly obvious sexual accounts were reported and none were removed. Referring to the video I showed you earlier titled, "Do Roblox Player Reports Really Work?" So the Roblox community wasn't having it, Twitter community notes wasn't having it. I mean, at this
Man. I'll admit, that is the one thing I miss about Twitter. Community notes was a godsend.
point, no one believed them anymore. This is why the day afterwards, Creek would officially announce that he was leaving the Roblox Star program and cutting all ties to the Roblox development team. This irresponsible attitude towards minors, and these
and he wasn't the only one,
had gone on for way too long. But what was really insane here is that Creek later would join a game in Roblox called The Schlep Funeral. And he, as well as everyone watching him, would find out that Roblox was taking measures to block any mention of Schlep on their platform. Watch as this map gets banned within a few seconds after he joins.
Oh yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
Uh-oh. 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 Oh, I'm not banned. Okay. Well, they got us, chat. They got us. We're rebels on the run.
Yeah, you're not crazy. Starting as early as August 13th, 2025, if you made a new account on Roblox and used Schlep in its name, it would get banned. And if you would put the name Schlep in your bio, you'd get a warning. But hey, if you still want to call your account Jeffrey Epstein, you can. You'll get no ban, no warning. Great. Schlep would tweet out, "Schlep games are allegedly being taken down, same with shirts and assets, but not bathroom games." I mean, at this point, it had barely just been 5 days since Schlep released his video, and this had already reached the mainstream. It was that ridiculous. Soon enough, you had a congressman by the name of Rokana reach out to Schlep directly concerning Roblox's child safety issues, only to then afterwards create a petition demanding that Roblox not only take accountability, but vows to do better in regards to child safety as soon as possible. At the same time, the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, would sue Roblox directly, saying that it endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana and that it's overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety.
Wow. I'm totally sure this outcome couldn't have been prevented very easily. It's almost as if Roblox was defending predators is a terrible idea or something.
She would then conduct a press release showing off some of the crazy games you can play as a 9-year-old on this game. Watch.
This is the kind of obscene garbage that they are peddling to our children in Louisiana. I will not stand by and watch this company grow exponentially from exploiting children and facilitating child sexual abuse for profit.
That is not something you want an Attorney General of a state of the United States to say about you. And if you thought things couldn't get worse, then Chris Hansen, the man behind To Catch a Predator, came out of retirement saying that he was going to cover what was happening with Roblox. That's how you know that you truly fucked up. He's working directly with Schlep to investigate what's going on with Roblox and will hopefully be releasing a documentary on it sometime in the future. All of this would culminate in the Roblox stock losing around 7% of its market capitalization within just the span of 24 hours. In other words, the company had lost over $12 billion in a day. And only after being sued by the Louisiana Attorney General would they finally take down a game that has been reported for months on end by multiple community members by the name of XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator.
Well, better too late than never, I suppose. To paraphrase the Slayer of Summertons. Yeah, I think I have to say. Probably should be, though.
Later. It's insane. They would then say that they're planning to restrict social hangouts that include private spaces such as bathrooms or bedrooms to ID verified 17+ users, trying their best to do damage control, but only making it worse. Creek would quote tweet this and say, "This is a crazy hill to die on. Roblox bathroom games are games. Making them 17+ doesn't solve the issue. 17-year-olds are still minors. Roblox is still allowing kids to be in these games. Holy shit, just ban the damn games. Nobody wants
seriously.
on the
Just
platform.
ban the fucking things. No one wants that.
Hill to die on. Player numbers do matter. Profit does matter for a company, but not through things like this. If banning games revolving around bathrooms and bedrooms is going to affect your player count and stock price so much, then maybe your company doesn't deserve to exist in the first place." And I mean, by that point, it was official. This had reached mainstream media, the average person, more importantly, parents of children who play this game. It had blown beyond proportion. How could a company be so stupid? And unlike every other time they've been exposed, Roblox had to make a solid statement this time to save its skin from being completely burnt to a crisp. So what did they do? They, of course, made the situation 1,000 times worse. On August 16th, 2025, David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, would tweet this out, saying, "Safety and civility have always been our top priority. Here's an update on our safety releases over the past few weeks, including our updated approach to vigilantism. We also preview additional releases in the works," linking a YouTube video. The official Roblox account would retweet this and outline the exact topics discussed here. Okay, well, let's check it out. Oh wait, there's no need. Just look at this. Around the 15-minute mark, here's what the chief safety officer of Roblox would have to say about vigilantes, more specifically people like Schlep. They would report to the police, and then only after would they let Roblox know. To which Schlep would say, "Are we serious right now? You're upset that I was reporting information to the police before reporting it to Roblox?" Like, what the fuck? Chief safety officer, by the way. I mean, look guys, this video was 40 minutes of mumbo jumbo. It was the most robotic, cringe, and tone-deaf thing I've ever seen in my life. Probably written by ChatGPT and approved by like a team of 50
I wouldn't be surprised.
They talked a lot, but essentially said nothing. The same things over and over again. Guys, we have tools, we have parental controls, we're doing our best. Well, your best isn't enough. And the like to dislike ratio shows what people think of your stupid statement. Not to mention that the CEO got community noted, saying Roblox has a history of refusing to take action against sexual predators, linking 4 different sources. The CEO is being absolutely cooked, so it came as no surprise that just a day later, a petition calling for the removal of David Baszucki had received over 100,000 signatures. The campaign accused Roblox leadership of putting children on the platform at risk and ignoring community concerns. And as all this was happening, as they were saying that their safety features were amazing, as they were banning the word Schlep in their game, a user made this video and Schlep reposted it. Just watch for yourself. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Look at this mess.
They're selling for the Maps account. Well, I did the crazy thing. I don't know if it was stupid. Maybe I am an actual f***ing idiot. I tried reporting this profile. I reported it saying, "Yo, Roblox Maps, this is a dog whistle for predators, and the bio is in Morse code, soliciting photos." And I'm just going to refresh the page in case you don't believe me.
MAP stands for Minor Attracted Person, in case anyone here does not know what that term means. Unfortunate that you had to learn this way, but they were really fucking annoying when they tried to get into the LGBT community. Thankfully, the LGBT plus community wanted absolutely nothing, none of what they were trying to pull, so they outright tried to phase them out. Emphasis on tried, since sadly they were always trying to weasel with their ways back in, but
me, but nothing happened to their profile, even though their username is clearly bad. And I'm pointing out their username because Roblox, what they're doing right now is they are moderating users with hashtag free Schlep in their display name. If you put free Schlep in your display name on Roblox, you will get punished. Roblox will punish hashtag free Schlep, but not selling for Max 1.
I mean, honestly, at this point, if I was a predator, I'd be jumping up and down, celebrating the fact that there was a multi-billion-dollar company out there that was protecting me, and instead banning someone who would go after me. I mean, seriously, can you make this any worse? What was Roblox even doing right now? Well, they were debating the age-old question, 17 or 18. In response for 17-year-olds being allowed into social hangouts that include private spaces such as bathrooms or bedrooms, Roblox has stated they are now considering 17 versus 18 for these experiences. It's like no matter what, you could take anything away from them. You could call them predators, but you could not take the bathrooms and bedrooms away from them. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you dying on this hill? Well, we'd start to understand why. You see, the chief security officer, Matt Kaufman, has some interesting badges in his inventory. Badges can be
wow,
collected by
you
playing
don't
specific
fucking
levels,
say!
and his badges tell us a very interesting story. For example, he had played a game called Pilchero Outfits, closed-off condo game in Roblox The Hatch event. Another badge he had was from Dollhouse RP, placed under review just on August 16th, after this whole scandal had broken out. This is a game that was full of info sharing, age play, dating, etc. He also had a badge from a now banned game called Teddy's Largest Condo. At its peak, this had over 76 million players and it was a dating game. He has a Halloween 2024 badge that was only available for a limited time. Another game he played and has a badge for was Your Sus Roommate, which was banned. It was a suggestive AI girlfriend game with a sus ending. Last but not least, he had a badge for Row Meet, a game that was closed by its own developers. This was an Omegle/Tinder-esque game that often saw dating and predatory behavior occur. Interesting. You know, I wish we would finally be able to see the client list of Jeffrey Epstein, because I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe Matt Kaufman is on those papers. Now, of course, some people would argue that he was visiting these
now
levels
there's a
as random, but as the
conspiracy.
chief safety officer, you don't spend your time on Roblox banning individual games. The underpaid moderators do that. That's why it's so suspicious. But this behavior didn't seem to be exclusive to the chief safety officer. No, this seemed to be a company-wide mindset. Schlep would tweet out, "This is an alleged quote from a Roblox administrator in a child safety lawsuit." It said, "As one former Roblox employee explained in describing the company's approach to child safety, you have to make a decision, right? You can keep your players safe, but then it will be less of them on the platform. Or you just let them do what they want to do. And then the numbers all look good and investors will be happy." I mean, at this point, it was only confirming what we already knew. Roblox just seemed the kind of company that would easily, in a heartbeat, bring back slavery if it meant higher player count and more money. There were absolutely no morals at play.
And yet they are still not making money. See the problem here?
Here. Let these children have their lives completely ruined because we simply don't want to see our player counts drop. That's evil. That's disgusting. And speaking of evil and disgusting, both MasterCard and Visa are facing immense backlash after forcing Steam and itch.io to remove certain adult games off their platforms. Now, bear in mind, these platforms actually do look out for children and make it extremely hard for them to access such games. I don't know much about itch, but I know that on Steam, there are some very strict parental controls and children will never be able to even see any games deemed adult. These were adult games made for adults. But Visa and MasterCard, the companies that pretty much monopolize payment processing in the world, didn't care. Now, what's really interesting here is that both Visa and MasterCard are still very happily accepting payments on behalf of Roblox, showing absolutely zero disagreement and not even commenting once about what's going on in regards to children's safety. In fact,
Wow. That seems insanely specific. Nick. So they're so MasterCard and Visa are willing to remove Steam from to bully Steam and itch just to censor the LGBT community because bigotry, I suppose, under the guise of protecting children. Yet they're actively partnered with a company infamous for housing predators. And they wonder why everyone is fucking pissed at them.
what's even better is that both of them are in direct partnership with Roblox, with Visa in particular having acted as a sponsor at some point. So what gives? An adult can't play an adult game, but when children do, it's okay? I mean, at this point, even encouraged? That's kind of weird. But the good news is that even though Visa and MasterCard are spineless and are not doing anything in regards to this, Schlep is enlisting the help of a law firm in order to sue Roblox over what they did to him. I wish him the absolute best, and I really hope he wipes the
same
floor
here.
with them in court. He deserves it. Look, overall, this thing has been such a ridiculous mess. It feels like a fever dream. How could the CEO, the child safety officer, just everyone involved in the executive team of this company see this and think we're doing the right thing? What's the point in being able to grow a company and make a lot of money if you're doing it at the expense of children? When your platform is literally hurting innocents, it simply doesn't make sense. And now people are hoping that unlike every other major controversy that had happened beforehand in regards to child safety with Roblox, this time would be different, especially with the law going after them. At the same time, though, while many want to see Roblox face justice, they don't want this used as an excuse to enact something similar to the UK Online Safety Act in the US. In other words, they don't want lawmakers to limit online free speech while using child safety as an excuse. No one's falling for that. The UK right now is pathetic. It's dystopian. So if you're American, definitely go sign.
Yeah, side note, they're being sued by 4chan. So that's gonna be fucking amazing to watch. Look, I don't care how horrible that 4chan and the other sites that are suing them are. Fact of the matter is, we're sick of the censorship. It never worked in the 2010s. It didn't work with the 2000s. It actively destroyed websites. Just stop.
Sign that petition by Rokana. Definitely express your discontent with this company to your local congressman or senator or whatever, and let's get this company to finally face accountability for all the harm that they have done and continue to do on a daily basis. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I'm sorry for the echo. There's not much I can do about the room I'm in right now. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I just hope that things can calm down for a little bit, just for a couple more weeks until my vacation's over, and I'll see you.
I didn't really notice an echo, honestly. Oh, welcome back, Alex.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Mwah.
Oh yeah, that was the Mujin's video on Roblox. And yeah, I definitely wish Schlep block. Oh, also, this is actually an older OC of mine, just in a different outfit. Kinda themer around Undertale, since the prompt was draw as an Undertale monster. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely enjoy how this turned out. And I suppose since we have plenty of time, we can go ahead and watch Schlep's reaction into the whole thing. Alright. This is... this is Roblox Take a Seat by Schlep, featuring Chris Hansen.
Roblox is a place where we filter all the text and the voice, where we monitor for critical harms, where there's no image sharing.
Ah, God, I love the
From that.
1984 homage.
We all want to keep Roblox safe. We share.
Christ, this motherfucker even looks like a... Yeah, Christ, this dude even looks like a cursed Roblox image. Fuck this dude. Yeah, from what I hear, he actually got quite a few requests on the Roblox Predators. Yeah, there's been that many. I think he tried to go after Onision once, but I don't really remember how that went. One second, I gotta layers real quick. And yeah, there we go. All right, let's get back to the video.
Roblox safe. We share this view, and we know that there's members of our community who feel strongly about that too. And you know what? We welcome them as part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer.
I want to highlight, we have always had safety as one of our top priorities, and we're not waiting for the law or legislation. We've innovated with age estimation on our own because we want to keep people on our platform.
Yeah, nice use of 3D, by the way.
This whole situation is kind of crazy.
Everybody go donate to this boy Schlep.
This is probably the worst decision this company has ever made.
Hashtag free Schlep on God. Yeah, they actually need Schlep.
I'm wishing Schlep the best.
Yeah, even Charlie got involved in this.
Something. There's got to be something.
That's when you know it's gone mainstream.
I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated.
Why should we support a platform that is taking steps to prevent predators from getting caught?
Good question.
Roblox has just lost $12 billion in market value following their response to their cease and desist letter against me. Just for context, I'm someone who's gotten 6 predators within their community arrested in real life. That loss, though, isn't on me. It's a direct result of Roblox's own response to its child safety crisis. Instead of addressing the real issues, Roblox has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled down. They've put out statements after statements painting me and my team
Yeah. Sorry, I got a weird notification. Anyway.
own response to its child safety crisis. Instead of addressing the real issues, Roblox has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled down. They've put out statements.
And they also got community noted once, twice, and tripled and quadrupled times. Enjoy the frickin' L.
After statements painting me and my team as
to Roblox, I mean, not Schlep. His L kind of sucks.
reckless vigilantes while claiming that their platform is safe when it absolutely is not. People are just seeing through this, and that's why a huge movement has started online called Free Schlep. It's been trending everywhere. Multiple members of Congress have now called out the company's child abuse problem, and the Attorney General of Louisiana has filed a giant lawsuit against the company for, and I quote, prioritizing user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. The day after the Attorney General's lawsuit was filed, Roblox's market value dropped by $12 billion. In response, the company scrambled to roll out new policies targeting the very not safe for work games featured in the lawsuit and my videos, like for instance bathroom simulators. Mind you, the community has been calling out these games for years now, but still, even after everything, instead of removing these blatantly inappropriate experiences, Roblox simply slapped a 17+ label on them. They also launched a ban wave against some of the worst games they've knowingly hosted for years, games that have led thousands of children to getting extorted, and worse. Roblox's actions are nothing more than damage control for the problems they've allowed to fester.
Well, better too late than never, I suppose.
When the entire community was screaming at them to fix these problems, and the community saw that killing the messenger was an act of war. Shortly after these changes, Roblox released a video so bad that it was community noted on Twitter twice. David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, Matt Kaufman, the Chief Safety Officer of Roblox, and Eliza Jacobs, the Senior Director of Product Policy, did a 45-minute tech talk. Most of this is just corporate jumbo, but they go ahead and respond directly to their vigilante policy. Before I show this, I want you to remember, I'm the only person that Roblox has targeted with this vigilante policy that they just created. Not even my team was moderated or given any legal letter. I begged for a clear line and even offered to keep much of my work private to help, and I'm no way obligated to do that, but instead they went straight after me, moderating my accounts and sending a cease and desist before I could even react to the policy. And let's be clear about one.
Yeah, that totally doesn't sound suspicious on their end. I wonder what they could be hiding.
thing. I'm not a vigilante. That means I'm taking the law into my own hands. We work with law enforcement, which is why we have arrests. Roblox refuses to say my name because they'd have to acknowledge those arrests. But make no mistake, they're responding to the outrage, which is about me, and this is what they had to say about it. They first start off the interview by talking about how vigilantes started out as a good thing.
Both inside of Roblox, and I think that there are lots of people outside of Roblox who really have the best intentions and the welfare of our community at heart. We all want to keep Roblox safe. And you know what? We welcome them in part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer. And we have members of the community in these vigilante groups that started off in a really good place. They started off by saying like, hey, they're reporting on issues on Roblox.
Yeah, I'm gonna be blunt. This dude looks and talks exactly like a certified lover boy. Yeah, that's my way of censoring the word that Google refuses to let us say.
They're talking about how we could do better. And you know, we paid really careful attention.
This statement is just laughably hilarious. If Roblox was really paying attention, then what about when my mom emailed you guys about my own shooting case? What did you do then? Nothing. Actually, you kept paying the guy for years afterward, until you were literally forced to do something about it. If what Roblox was claiming was actually true, them listening to the community, why are the biggest content creators leaving your exclusive YouTuber program in protest of how you're moderating your platform? And I'm gonna actually bring up something later in this interview to show you how much of a joke this is. This here is Meep City, one of the most controversial games on Roblox. Creecraft, one of the largest Roblox YouTubers, joined this game, and within 4 seconds was exposed to not safe for work content. The community has been complaining about this game for almost a decade now, but Roblox has still continued to leave this game up and platform it. CEO.
Hey, damn, my dog's howling. What's she complaining about this time? Okay, looks like we called.
David Bazuki this game up and platform it. But CEO David Bazuki mentions this game by name, and here's their philosophy on this.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, if the community does not want a game up, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to take it down. Just saying.
See some of our community naming experiences on Roblox and just say take it down, take it down, take it down. I'd say examples could be Meep City, for example. Can you share like why should that be up? Should that be down? Like what's up?
I think one thing that's really challenging on this global immersive interactive platform is that we have content created by developers and creators and content created by the community, by the users that are in that game. And one thing that we really try to do is be fair to our developers and to not moderate them for the behavior of their users.
How is this a crazy math problem? This is so simple. The creator of this game wants these people in their game. How is this even controversial? The developer is giving the tools to the player to make this inappropriate content. And that is the problem with Roblox. Roblox turns a blind eye unless the developers are blatantly making not safe for work games. And even then, it is still on the line if Roblox will take action. Roblox might have just went back on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that's a bit shocking to hear, but not safe for work artists are far better at moderation than Roblox is. Yeah, sure, there's a fuck ton of horrible degenerates, and some artists are absolutely awful, but a majority of us refuse to draw not safe for work stuff for kids. This is because it's a legal liability for us. And because the drawing for kids is absolutely disgusting. Hey, Noel. Yeah, I'm doing a reaction to Schlep's video, in case you're curious.
On their word regarding Meep City. This game had every inappropriate feature removed from it pretty much overnight. It's unknown if Roblox made Alex Neutron, the creator of Meep City, do this, but either way, it shows the public pressure is working. Games that Roblox is doubling down on are folding, so that's why it's really important to keep speaking up about this.
Then we saw something change. What we saw is that some of these groups started engaging with the community in ways that violated our policies. And so let me explain what that means. They would go and create accounts on Roblox claiming to be a child.
Roblox keeps repeating this same talking point, that I'm impersonating and pretending to be a child. Here's the reality. You have to pretend to be a child because if the predators knew they were talking to an adult, that wouldn't even be a crime. You guys seem to be more upset that I'm pretending to be a child than predators are decoys. And if it wasn't our decoys, it would be a real person. It's also worth noting that the FBI, ICAC, and local law enforcement all use these same exact tactics. Would Roblox be willing to send them a cease and desist too? And their claim that I'm impersonating children is flat out false. Impersonation means I'm stealing the identity of a real child. From the very beginning, we've never used real kids. We don't send pictures of real children, and we create totally new identities where every single photo that's sent is of someone that is of age. The only difference is we tell these people that we are underage. This is flat out a lie, what they're claiming. But what happens next is so wild that the CEO of Roblox cuts off the chief safety officer.
Yeah, that's kind of how... That right there is not a vigilante tactic. That is an actual tactic used by law enforcement. And big shock, that is the exact opposite of a vigilante. Hey, fucking hell. Sorry. He always pisses me off.
And then they would enter into game servers and they would go and start asking everybody around them, how old are you? And they were seeking out adults. If you said that you were, move on. But if you said that you were 25, then they would start engaging in conversations and they would try and use those conversations to simulate.
Matt, is this anecdotal? Because I know we have chat logs for all chat on Roblox and historical records. Are you able to kind of...
David totally
wow, that is not
probably
suspicious
the
at
most
all.
made by Matt Kaufman in this whole interview. To simulate what, Matt Kaufman? Because it's not simulation. These are predators thinking that they're talking to someone that is real, and they a lot of times want to show up in person and do stuff to them in real life. And in my opinion, this shows how little Roblox actually cares about this problem. They can say whatever they want. They can talk about all the new safety features that they're rolling out, but it means nothing if lawsuits are being filed every single week against the company and headlines are making the media about a new horrible situation happening because of this platform. I also want to say how they totally mischaracterize how I run my decoy operation. We are never the first to engage with any of the predators. They always contact our decoy account first.
So we saw these actors, they're pretending to be kids, they're trying to find adults, and then what they're doing is they're trying to move the conversation as quickly as possible to other platforms that don't have the type of monitoring and policies that Roblox has. And then they were using that activity that happened on other platforms to create situations that they would then video,
Wow, that doesn't sound insanely liable at all. Yeah, moving predators from a platform that notoriously protects them. That totally doesn't make you look bad.
would report to the police, and then only after would they let Roblox know.
Roblox is accusing me of encouraging adults to talk inappropriately to people they shouldn't. That is not true, and if it was true, I wouldn't have a single arrest. We present ourselves as a naive kid who doesn't know about these topics. Crimes like this should obviously be reported to law enforcement first, not Roblox. If Roblox is notified before the police, they can delete accounts, tip off the predators that are being investigated, and give them a chance to erase valuable evidence that the police need to prosecute. The fact that these predators are on the platform to begin with shows that their safety systems have failed. If Roblox did their job, there wouldn't be anybody for us to find. Roblox also claims that I'm moving these players to other platforms, but those platforms are linked directly on Roblox's own site. Roblox has actually even partnered with some of those platforms.
Huh, that's a very interesting thing to note.
They even own a bot on that other platform. Anyone can make an account 13+ and see social media links on Roblox, and unsurprisingly, people in real life have been abducted because of this feature that Roblox allows. And when they say I'm creating these situations, that's just insulting. I'm not creating situations. These predators are trying to grab people within your community.
And there's a bunch of issues in here. Number one, the violation of our policies about being honest about how old you are. Number two, moving conversations off platform.
Yeah, change your freaking policies then, jackass.
And number three,
pretty easy.
Waiting to tell Roblox when they identified violative behavior to come and tell us so we could take action.
In Matt Kaufman's own words, in articles about vigilantes, he said law enforcement officials are best positioned to investigate potential crimes. So why is he criticizing us for going to the police first? And it's not like we're not even reporting these things to Roblox. We do. We give Roblox the same Google Drive that we give to the cops. They have the first chat log till the very end where they're in handcuffs. And we have numerous fully documented instances where Roblox refused to take action until after we released videos that got millions of views. Also, waiting to tell Roblox in general is a policy violation? If you were on Roblox and went straight to the authorities instead of reporting it to Roblox first, would you technically be violating Roblox's terms of service?
I think some of these groups started off in a really good place, and they started off, really, and they still do really care about the community. The actions that they were taking were putting our community at greater risk and were violations of our policy.
Yeah, no, dude. If anything, your inaction made their actions far more safer than your policy. Hate to break it to you, but you kinda suck at your job.
He says I'm putting the community at risk. Roblox even went as far to accuse me and my team of being similar to predators. Think about that. They're implying I am preying on predators. So to Matt Kaufman and David Bazuki, I'm very sorry for preying on the predators of your platform and getting them arrested and put in handcuffs, because I didn't ever want to see kids go through what I went through.
These actors that were coming on the platform, they were reaching out to dozens and dozens of people, and the vast majority of those people were not responding to those engagements, and frankly, were harmed in that process.
I'm gonna show you this predator I caught. I sent a message in the chat and I got this guy messaging me.
Yes, okay, how old are you? I asked him back how old he is, and he says he's older than 18. I tell him I'm years old. Do you mind me being younger? No, not really. If you can keep it a secret between us, though. And he does Predator Strat 101. He asks for my Snap or Discord. And the reason why he's asking for Snap is because the messages delete. I tell him Discord, and I get on Discord with him, and the messages begin right away.
Throughout that entire process, where did I harm anyone? Because the real harm was Roblox letting this game exist on their platform for years. It only disappeared after Hindenburg, an investment research firm, went ahead and exposed Roblox for hosting this experience. And conveniently, it vanished the moment they showcased this predator catch. Notice as well how I wasn't the one to ask for Discord or Snapchat. The predator did. These were the sort of people interacting with our decoys, and so many people are becoming victimized from people exactly like this.
They were normalizing policy violations on the platform.
What? Roblox's own algorithm recommends inappropriate items to people. Roblox actively hosts not safe for work games for children. Roblox themselves, in this interview, doubled down on one of the most infamous instances of inappropriate behavior that they've allowed for nearly a decade. And they're really going at me for normalizing policy violations. Absolutely unbelievable.
And the other piece is oftentimes the sort of evidence that was collected, the video evidence, was really difficult to verify, really difficult for us. And if law enforcement had to verify it, then they're talking about subpoenas. And so I think something that sometimes seems obvious to folks in the community really is just much more complicated on the back end.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I have a sinking suspicion this bitch keeps baby oil somewhere. Tons of balls of the shit. Call it a hunch. Or maybe she's just Glenn Maxwell in a shitty disguise. Either one wouldn't surprise me.
How the evidence that I was sending you guys was hard to verify. I sent you guys screen recordings of us scrolling through the entire chat on mobile, and a lot of the stuff that happens is happening directly within Roblox. Like, for instance, when Roblox refused to ban this predator, we got arrested in Hawaii, and he was literally talking in-game about planning the meetup in real life on Roblox. With all that being said, I wanted to ask someone who's been working with law enforcement and has been doing predator catching since before I was even born. So I decided to take a seat with Chris Hansen to catch some answers.
I'm Chris Hansen. I'm co-founder and correspondent reporter for the True Blue Streaming Crime Network. We do a lot of crime and investigative reporting. Our Takedown series, which exposes predators trying to exploit children online. And we also work on a number of documentaries, including this particular project, exposing the sort of thing that goes on Roblox.
I wanted to ask you about some of the comments that Roblox has specifically stated about like predator catching. One of the main complaints is pretending to be a child. I want to know your answer. It's kind of obvious, but the importance of using decoy accounts to just find different predators.
Well, we couldn't do it without using decoy accounts. In the very beginning, we had an online watchdog group, Perverted Justice, do that work, and now, and for the last several years, it's been members of law enforcement who have posed as children online, merely sitting in one of these areas, and they wait to be approached by somebody who is seeking to exploit children. And then the conversation takes place. It all happens according to the law, and then that gets turned over. Now, I understand that anytime somebody is not with law enforcement, it gives pause to a corporation. It's like, okay, here's this kid. We don't know whether he's following the rules properly. We don't know if he's running this by a lawyer. Maybe you could argue that they just don't want that sort of activity on their platform, but you think they'd be more worried about the activity that you're exposing.
That's what I've been trying to get at this whole time.
Let's worry about that, number one, and then you can have a conversation with young Schlep. I mean, if I were the CEO of Roblox, I would make you an ambassador for security. I would get out in front of this thing and do what would be a fantastic promotional move. I'm a little dumbfounded that they haven't figured it out, given that these guys are in the high-tech world who invented this stuff in some ways. Why don't they get ahead of it and get a young guy on their team? That's what I'm doing with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that hard to figure out. I learned a long time ago that if you're not listening to the youngest guy or girl in the room, you're missing opportunity. You have to evolve, and you have to keep on top of this technology, and you have to bring new ideas into the room to do your job. My job is to expose bad people. You are helping.
I mean, the thing is, I've made it very, very clear to Roblox since the beginning. Give us a private line. We are open to communicate with you. We want to talk with you guys. We know a lot of these really bad actors, and the first official contact I had with them was the cease and desist letter.
It's horrible from a public image standpoint. I mean, you're killing the messenger. Right? It's not like you're out there tracking these guys down with, tasers and smoke guns. I mean, you're providing information to the platform to do something about it.
One of the major complaints that Roblox had about me was that I was actually going to law enforcement first before sending their report, just so that they would have a start to finish conversation of everything that took place. Did you guys ever reach out to social media sites before this sting goes down?
No, we always go to law enforcement. We work with law enforcement in everything we do, and that is to ensure a successful prosecution. That's why the prosecution rate in these states is, like 99.1%. It's law enforcement first, then they can deal with the corporation. The corporation should be more concerned about reporting what it finds to law enforcement to investigate.
I'm going to read to you a quote from Roblox's corporate blog describing our operations. Similar to actual predators, they often impersonate my actively approach users and then try to lead them onto different platforms to have explicit conversations. We obviously do not talk to these predators. We don't impersonate real children. Our decoys are, adults.
Well, I think if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, that's wrong. Based upon what you've said to me, you don't actively bait these guys in terms of making the first approach. You merely set up a profile as somebody who's underage, and you exist in that room until an adult approaches one of your decoys. Then if conversation takes place, they get exposed, and that information gets turned over to law enforcement. And in many cases, they do something, and then you report that both on your platform as a citizen journalist, a young guy working on these stories, and to Roblox to take action as a corporate citizen.
I thought it was kind of wild how they compared what we're doing to actual predators.
Well, if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, yeah, that's horrible. This entire project is going to be healthy for Roblox, and it's going to be especially good for users of Roblox, because anything that creates awareness and a dialogue is important. And you need to tell parents that this stuff exists, that these dangers are out there, and that if your child is approached by a predator, they need to come to the parents. I mean, that's the first line of defense. It's great what you're doing. It's great what I do. It's really great that law enforcement and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children does all this work every day across the country. It's great that Roblox has a department that takes a look at some of this stuff. What's not great is the lack of connection here that could make it even better and safer. Until that happens, we have to show parents what goes on here, and they have to have the discussion with kids and say, hey, be careful.
What made you interested into getting into Roblox?
I was personally getting communications on social media saying, you need to look into this, you need to look into this, you need to look into this. And then we saw a big case down in Florida where a guy was arrested in Central Florida for actually giving them Robux and having them exploit siblings and other. It made headlines down in Marion County, Florida. And so I started digging into it. We had good contacts with that sheriff's department there. And we actually ironically just did a predator sting, a takedown sting down there. So we started with an interview there. And it turns out that in the same jurisdiction, there was a 10-year-old girl who was exploited on Roblox by a man all the way over in England. And so we interviewed that victim's mother, and all of a sudden all these cases started developing, including the lawsuit by the Attorney General in Louisiana.
It's interesting you mentioned Florida, because we got an arrest there. We got it in Polk County, and it was a guy who possessed.
Polk County, as you know, is where Sheriff Grady Judd is, and they're very active in this space.
Oh, yeah.
We do work with them as well. First of all, it breaks my heart, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with this.
There are very good things about that sheriff.
On this particular platform, the fact that you were bullied and preyed upon and advantage of, and that it went to the extent it did, it breaks my heart, and this is why we do these investigations. But to see you at your age turn it into a positive and do something about it, I think is incredible and admirable.
Thank you. I appreciate
From a guy
it.
who's been kicking around.
Yeah, I actually agree. People who do that are in fact admirable. And I wish Schlep the best. And hopefully his lawsuit will pan out.
Around doing this for 42 or 43 years now. It's really cool because when I started on television, I was your age. I was 22 years old. So when I see a young person do this kind of work, it's very impressive to me because I know what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very crazy when you start looking into this stuff. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. It only gets more disturbing the more you see it.
Well, and since we announced that we're doing this documentary and that you are collaborating, I am overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. I saw a tweet tweet on Twitter, it got like 160,000 likes that you're just even looking into the platform. Because that's the thing, people have known about these issues for so long, but journalists haven't done enough to like really look into it. And now it's starting to break into the world where everybody is starting to like start to be aware.
We're seeing more mainstream, outlets cover it. And look, we have the ability to infiltrate this world because we've been doing it for 21 years. First with To Catch a Predator, and for the last 2.5 years at True Blue, our streaming crime network, with Takedown. So we know how to do this and work with law enforcement. Now, a lot of people can go out and do this stuff independently, but here you are, a good example of somebody who has done the work and given it to law enforcement. And that's the key here, because if you expose these guys and, make fun of them and do a Borat kind of thing, like some other content creators, they often don't face the consequences. They don't have to register as a offender. They don't get prosecuted.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too, a lot of the reason why I have to make this content is because we reach out to Roblox, we give them the emails, we give them all the information. They don't respond until after we publish a video that gets millions of views on YouTube. It makes me concerned because if we're getting that, what are real victims getting?
Look, I understand a little bit Roblox situation here. What they're trying to do is follow the protocol. When they see something, they're mandated to report that to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which then refers it to law enforcement. And that's good, and they should be doing that. But why they wouldn't also take advantage of information given to them, wrapped with a bow around it, as you have done, it's stunning to me that they wouldn't see the opportunity here to be an ally of yours as opposed to somebody who they're making an example of and saying you're breaking the rules, banning you. I don't understand that. From a corporate citizen aspect, it doesn't make sense. From a public relations standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And from a justice-seeking standpoint, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know, and I hope that during the course of this, that I'll get a chance to sit down with somebody at Roblox. And I have a feeling that's going to happen. But I'm going to be posing all of those questions when that interview takes place.
To young people who look up to you and see predators in online spaces, what is the single most important step that they can take to protect themselves?
I would be hesitant to tell people to conduct their own investigations, but I'm adamant that you got to report this stuff to your local law enforcement agency. You got to report it to the service provider. You got to report it to the platform. Hopefully, between those three things, you get some action. I think 15, 20 years ago, law enforcement would be a little overwhelmed by this and say, if you're in a small town, you go to the police department, say this happened, they say, okay, well, I'm not sure how to investigate it. Well, today, every department has the ability to investigate this stuff, and they are very willing to take these cases up.
It's an absolute honor to have Chris Hansen featured on this channel. Chris Hansen is flying me out soon to actually feature in his Roblox documentary about exploitation. With everything that we've learned so far, one question persists. Why did I get this cease and desist? I'll let this alleged former Roblox employee answer this question for you.
This is
You
going to
have
be
to make a decision,
infuriating.
right? You keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platform.
That's the previous
or
one.
just let them do what they want to do, and then all the numbers look good, and investors will be happy.
You might just be thinking this is one alleged Roblox employee. Well, Bloomberg is claiming that 8 Roblox employees told a very similar story to this in 2024. Roblox actively forces victims of the platform into arbitration, a tactic so unethical that platforms like Uber and Lyft actually have policies against doing this. The reason they're
Consider that for a second. They are considered too unethical for Uber and Lyft. That is horrifying.
doing it is even more outrageous. Because this person received so many benefits from using the platform, he cannot now complain that Roblox is trying to prevent him from seeking justice in court for the life-altering harm he suffered. Here's why I personally care so much about this problem.
Who's been offered free Robux to do something that was inappropriate in the game?
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
Or someone has said, I'll give you some free Robux if you come and follow me on Snapchat or TikTok or something like that. Who's had that happen? Okay, loads of you.
I've seen a lot of corruption in big tech, but I've never seen a company harm this many young people at the scale Roblox has. They can say whatever they want about safety or try to discredit me, but the arrests and their response to those arrests speak louder than any PR statement that they could possibly make. This isn't just about moderation. The rot goes all the way up to the CEO, a man whose vision includes adding dating to this platform and defending predators.
Yeah, he's not lying, by the way. The CEO is actually doing that. The response was absolutely predictable, and this was before Schlep's banning, so yeah, no one knows what went through his head. The CEO's head, I mean.
Games like Neep City. It's not even negligence, it's his literal philosophy. The narrative around Roblox needs to change. People have to understand what this platform actually is. Share what's happening, talk about it. Make sure your friends, parents, journalists, and lawmakers know how deep these problems run. Call your congressman and tell him you won't stand by while Roblox puts children in danger. I've been sounding the alarm for over a year as a whistleblower, and Roblox's leadership has tried to silence me. What needs to happen is David Baszucki needs to sit in front of Congress under oath, and he needs to explain why so many people have been abducted and abused on his platform, and why his company is choosing profits over safety.
Man. Yeah, nothing else to say but what I already said. I wish Schlep the best. That is absolutely terrifying. And yeah, there's a good reason I don't actually plan on getting a Roblox account anytime soon. Alright, well, still got plenty of time left. What else can I watch?
Is it possible?
I like the an anarchist. Oh yeah, we should probably watch the response from by Mike. Like, only like
Roblox is one of the most
10 minutes, as well.
Roblox is one of the most popular gaming platforms in the world.
The developers of that game are now facing mounting criticism over child safety concerns.
Games like this are not helping.
The Roblox Corporation has sent a cease and desist letter to me.
Instead of stopping the predators, Roblox stops the people stopping the predators.
They are the problem.
People everywhere are furious with Roblox, and now they're getting sued. The platform promised to be safe, but the reality is very different. So today, I'm breaking down the entire case, even meeting with some of the biggest YouTubers. And then, on behalf of everyone, I'm helping to sue Roblox. This summer, Roblox was hit with a massive lawsuit centered on a young player known as DH. The lawsuit claims she joined the platform after believing the company's promise that it was safe and educational. While using Roblox, she was allegedly approached by an adult, misrepresenting who they were, and the platform's moderation systems didn't catch it. She was later taken from her home and abused by the same individual. And she's not alone. Since 2018, police have arrested at least 24 people accused of misusing Roblox to contact young users and move chats off platform. Some had prior records. Others were people in trusted roles, like teachers, nurses, even a cop. Even Roblox has reported over 13,000 flagged incidents on its platform, a huge jump from roughly 3,000 the year before. Roblox says that's just a small fraction compared to all US reports. But for parents, the numbers feel staggering. And here's the core claim. The lawsuit argues Roblox allegedly knew these risks, but kept selling parents on the idea of a safe digital playground. Even some of Roblox's biggest creators are speaking out. Take Schlep, a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. When he was younger, he says he had a troubling experience involving a Roblox developer.
All that happened to me, it totally messed me up mentally. It made me have to go into therapy and psychologically messed with, relationships that I had, even till this day. I mean, it's something that, it was messed up.
That experience pushed him to act. As an adult, he began working with police by conducting investigations on Roblox. His efforts have led to the arrest of 6 people. So Schlep, what was the goal when you started making videos about safety issues on Roblox?
It really all started back to my own personal experiences related to it. I had some very negative experiences as a kid, and I was affected by a very popular developer. So I saw these issues firsthand, like I experienced them.
But instead of celebrating him, Roblox banned his accounts and sent a cease and desist letter, accusing him of violating the rules against vigilante groups.
They're trying to silence the whistleblowers. They're spending more energy going after people like Schlep, but what they're doing, they're trying to put a muzzle on this whole thing. They're also trying to silence all the victims, and this is important, Mike.
That same day, Schlep dropped an 8-minute video where he described his ban, as well as his troubling experience with the Roblox developer. Schlep slammed Roblox for failing to take action against the developer for years. He claims during that time, Roblox even continued to pay and promote the developer. Afterwards, the backlash exploded. Roblox developers changed game thumbnails to say "Free Schlep." Thousands of players staged in-game protests. Even major creators like Moist Critical, Gideon, and Creekcraft piled on, calling Roblox backwards and hypocritical. Hashtag Free Schlep trended worldwide.
I was blown away with all the support, and it's been absolutely amazing reading all the messages. It was trending on Twitter for 3 days straight when the news first broke of it. And I mean, people were just outraged. They saw it for what it was. They were silencing someone trying to blow the whistle.
I think that's a really, really powerful thing. He was a 22-year-old kid. He was just a gamer. And I think he really stepped up to the plate to stand up to this Goliath.
Then it went mainstream. Congressman Ro Khanna publicly backed Schlep, sharing a petition demanding Roblox improve its safety. That petition hit 100,000 signatures in less than a week, and Roblox's stock price dropped by $12 billion. Now, Schlep, did you expect your videos to get as much attention as they did?
Honestly, no. My whole goal with these videos was actually just to bring this to the attention of Roblox. Like, I wanted Roblox to see what was going on, because I was reporting these communities to Roblox. I was making reports on a lot of these people. Nothing was happening, and the only other thing you can do is go public with it. So that's what I did.
But the story doesn't end there. Schlep just announced he's suing Roblox, not over the ban, but over the damage he says he suffered years ago from a developer on the platform. His lawyer confirmed he's also representing many others with similar stories.
We have over 800 cases involving sex abuse. These are personal injury claims. So survivors are coming forward because of the personal injuries and the trauma they experienced. Yeah, we think it's a very strong case, and I think that's part of the reason they're fighting so hard to try and move this into some types of confidential proceedings. So they think people will forget about what happened, and then they won't.
And now, because of you all bringing this issue to my attention, I've made the decision to team up with Schlep's lawyer to help sue Roblox. Reach out to my firm, IThinkIHaveACase.com, if you've gone through something similar. If someone is scared about something they experienced on Roblox, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to call a lawyer, find out about their legal options, and let them know that they will be believed. There's strength in numbers. Terrible things happen on Roblox. Hundreds and hundreds of people have come forward. We're here for you.
Definitely reach out to us. We are here to help.
Now he's fighting back in court, because if Roblox won't be held accountable in their own platform, we'll make sure that they're held accountable in the courtroom.
Now let's investigate how Roblox is designed, because the lawsuits claim there are at least 3 serious flaws. First, until 2021...
Oh yeah. This is where we all learn of how horrifically the Roblox's system is actually run. And even as someone who 100% believes this to be plausible, it's hard not to get shocked at the level of negligence in being listed.
Anyone could make an account by entering just a username, password, and birthday. Users could mistake their age and unlock unrestricted chat, which the lawsuits claim made it very common to find lower levels talking with adults. YouTubers like Gideon and Rob the Master, who have become well known for exposing bad actors, have said just how easy it is.
When we went on Roblox, it did not take long for our account to get attention from child predators. It was almost instantaneous.
Roblox says it's taking stronger steps to protect its younger players. The company has rolled out ID verification, asking players over 13 to scan a government-issued ID and selfie to gain access to certain features.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that feature does not work at all. Everyone who introduced that type of tech to their platforms immediately saw it exploited. Freaking Gmod profile pics have been used to bypass it. Gmod pics. That's how unreliable it is.
It's also testing age estimation, where machine learning guesses a user's age from a short video. And new features like trusted connections are meant to limit deeper chat and voice features to people you actually know in real life.
You know, we weren't just finding 1 or 2 peppers on there. We've caught 6 off of the game itself. But not only that, we've had dozens of these guys just contacting and grouping our decoy that we sadly weren't able to catch. And the real sad thing out here is that Roblox is going around telling parents that they're one of the safest apps for children, when from my own experience, that's not the case.
Even with ID checks and trusted connections, the scale of the platform makes full protection something that has to be taken even more seriously.
Unless you wanted to play the 17+ mic up games and stuff like that, anybody can pretty much sign up for Roblox.
Next, the game uses in-game currency called Robux. Players use Robux to buy rare accessories and customize their avatars, and many lower levels are obsessed with it. The lawsuits point out these players even say they do anything for Robux. So bad actors can take advantage of that by dangling Robux to gain control. And third is the lack of moderation. In 2017, the company claimed it had thousands of moderators working 24/7, plus advanced filters blocking unsafe content. The reality looks very different. For starters, Roblox has hosted many games with questionable themes, including Run from Diddy Simulator, Shower Simulator, and Bloody Battles. The fact that these games even existed undercuts Roblox's claim of being a safe, moderated place. But it's not just the games that are concerning. Roblox is now the go-to social platform for younger audiences. 78 million users log in every day. The platform processes more than 50,000 chat messages every second. Roblox claims its AI and human reviewers scan all of it: text, audio, and images. But here's the problem. The company allegedly employs only about 3,000 moderators. Compare that to TikTok, roughly 3 times Roblox's daily users, but over 13 times the number of moderators on staff. The reason for the lack of moderators is allegedly due to Roblox's focus on growth over safety. In fact, 8 current and former trust and safety staff describe ignored requests for more resources, backlog.
Yeah, and the growth did not work. So what now, Roblox?
Of incident reports, and even a manager quitting after promised hires never showed up. Some say protective features they suggested, like pop-up warnings, were rejected, and safety settings, like blocking strangers in chat, were switched off by default. Once again, Roblox points to AI moderation as the solution, but employees admit the tech still misses the subtle signs of unsafe behavior, and the gaps aren't small. The filters block words like Snapchat or Discord, but people get around them by using emojis or by tweaking the spelling a little. Even phone numbers are apparently blocked if you type the digits, but not if you just spell them out. The lawsuits argue that these kinds of loopholes prove Roblox knows the risks of off-platform communication. Yet it still leaves these obvious workarounds wide open. In court, the usual defense might not save Roblox. Most platforms lean on a law called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, and that law protects websites and apps from being sued over what their users post. That's why Instagram or YouTube don't get dragged into court every time someone uploads something harmful. But the lawsuits against Roblox aren't just about what users post. They're about the company itself. Lawyers argue Roblox designed the platform in risky ways, marketed it as safe, and then ignored clear warning signs. And at least one court has already said Section 230 doesn't cover misrepresentation. So if Roblox tells parents this is safe and it's not, that responsibility falls on Roblox, not the users. That's why these lawsuits matter to me. They represent more than just a few individual complaints. They're part of a broader movement pushing tech companies to take accountability, especially when their platforms are hurting younger players. Now, multiple cases are moving forward, and a jury will have to decide if Roblox should be held responsible. And if the plaintiffs win, the fallout could be huge, because it would set precedents that might force Roblox and other platforms like it to overhaul how they verify users and protect younger audiences. And I don't know how this video will perform or how many people will reach, because YouTube flags and restricts videos on this topic. It's kind of scary because people are afraid to put out information on this, but we feel like it's our duty to make sure that everyone knows. If you or someone you know needs help, reach out to us. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, it genuinely has gotten that bad. And let me tell you right now, the problem's probably gonna get a whole lot worse in days to come.